It's Saturday evening. It's time to talk about the very best comic books in the entire world. In a fantastic week, we hit double-digit recommendations this week, Drew.
Yes, we did. Double digits. It's been a long time, been a hot minute since we had double digits, and this was an amazing week. And I cannot wait to hear what you believe are some of your best books of the week. I think there may be some overlap, but we'll see. Regardless, it's all great stuff this week.
Some people might not know this, but I'm going on vacation. In fact, I leave in a couple of days. So this will be the last best of the week for almost a month. And then we'll get back to it, Drew. But this is the way to go out with a absolutely fantastic week, best week of the year thus far. And we got to start out with the indie comic books. Number one, Battle Beast, Robert Kirkman writing, Ryan Ottley on art. I have not personally read Invincible. It is one of my big shames as a comic book critic reviewer that I've never actually read that. But I decided to check out Battle Beast. A lot of hype behind this. Absolutely was worth the comic book that we ended up getting. I think it lives up to everything that they were selling on this one. Ryan Ottley is back because this is a bloody, violent comic book. This isn't the deepest thing you're ever going to find in the world. But Battle Beast going out, trying to find somebody that can actually pose a challenge to him. Very, very cool stuff. Really, really enjoyed this comic book.
Like you, full disclosure, I haven't read the entire Invincible series. I know. Shame on me. I've read probably the first 10 to 15 issues of Invincible, which is up to like before Battle Beast shows up. Now, with that being said, this is an incredibly beautiful comic book. Arguably one of the most beautiful comics this week, right next to Transformers, Space Ghost, and Geiger. However, I thought the pacing was off with this. You know, granted, there are some great action sequences that are beautiful, but I just felt like a lot of the dialogue, it was very dialogue heavy at points, and it felt like it could have used another pass through from an editor to make it much smoother story wise. But like I said, it's not the deepest stuff, but when there's dialogue there, it's crammed into some panels. But other than that, yeah, it's a beautiful comic book, and I hope Invincible fans think so as well.
I think they're definitely going to be very, very happy with that one. I thought that was a spectacular comic book. Also going to recommend Huck, Big Bad World #1, Mark Miller writing, Raphael Albuquerque on art. I am currently doing a Miller World read-through, and we are up to almost Empress. So I'm almost in Huck territory. So this is actually my introduction to the character outside of Big Game. I really like what Mark is doing here. It's very different than the other type of characters that he's done. Huck is obviously very, very wholesome, and his girlfriend, I don't even know what she's thinking. She's just leaving him for some bum just because she has a kid with him. He's been betrayed. And then this other dude has showed up, let him and his mother know that there are other heroes out there. And he's hoping Huck can help him find this woman that he met 30 years earlier that saved his life. Really cool setup. Really enjoyed this comic book. Some real wholesome entertainment from Mark Miller that we don't always see.
Wes, this issue was fantastic to me. It was absolutely terrific. So another full disclosure, I didn't read the first series. I mean, initially I was turned off by the interview Mark Miller gave about the book initially years ago, saying that Huck was kind of like Simple Jack with superpowers. And I was like, no thanks. That sounds pretty depressing to me. But after reading the character in Big Game, he was actually far from that. And I really dug the character Huck, and I want to know more about him. In this issue, yeah, like you said, we discover that there are more of these superpowered beings out there, and someone is actually looking for Huck. But the best part of this comic, Wes, was the drama between Huck and the girl he was dating. And Wes, I think you'll agree with me when that is so damn true to life. What happens to Huck in this is heartbreaking. I mean, I legitimately felt bad for Huck because there are women just like that out there in the real world. They don't realize that great person they have and go back to that piece of crap that treated them like crap. And I mean, you think I'm exaggerating in the comic? Well, if you think critically about how that guy talked to Huck, you would know he was a piece of crap for what he said. I mean, this is my 1B for Pick of the Week. This represents the best of Mark Miller, and I cannot wait for the next issue. Strong recommend for Huck, Big Bad World #1.
It's true. Nice guys don't finish last. They don't even start. Also going to recommend Geiger 14, Jeff Johns writing, Gary Frank on art. We've got Ash Arden. We've got Geiger there. She clearly wants to use Geiger. He's found Molotov, and Molotov is like, you cannot trust this woman. She has some very bad plans of what she wants to do with you, setting off this nuclear weapon inside. And we find out what she wants him to do. It's a bit convoluted, but basically she wants to use him to suck off her powers so she can go back on with her life and not be powered by nuclear energy or whatever anymore. Really cool stuff, beautifully illustrated, and the stuff they're doing with Junkyard Joe is really, really strange, but very intriguing.
Intense. is the word I can associate with this issue. Very intense. It's very fast paced. It's action packed. It's going from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene to scene very quickly. Yeah, like I said, we got nukes getting ready to go off. The radioactive antiheroes going at it with one another. One's trying to take the powers. One's trying to have the one take powers from the other one. Robot soldiers getting repossessed. The issue has everything in this. It's amazing, Wes, how far this series has come along from when it first appeared. I mean, when it first came out, the series is kind of depressing as hell. But Jeff has corrected that course and has made this a fun, action-packed superhero sci-fi horror story. And Gary Frank, once again, his art is flipping phenomenal. A strong recommend for Geiger. This book keeps getting better and better.
Absolutely. Geiger was phenomenal this week. Definitely check that one out. Also going to recommend Transformers number 20, Daniel Warren Johnson writing, Jorge Corona on art. Every great hero, like an Optimus Prime, needs to have that standout villain. This is the Megatron showcase that I think they thought last issue was. Just seeing the depths that he's going to exact revenge on the people that he feels have done him wrong really stood out. Some of the most psychotic things that you will ever see a robot do to another robot. We also get a little bit of the Optimus Prime Spike Witwicky stuff. We also get a little bit of Cliff Jumper and stuff like that. We even see what happened to Magnus Prime, but it's all overshadowed by the amazing character development and events that we see with Megatron. Mind blown.
Wes, this is my pick of the week. This issue we were all waiting for, and Megatron just comes in like a damn wrecking ball and goes to town on his fellow Decepticons. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say what he does. You got to read to find out. Let's talk about the art in this book. I believe at this point, with 20 issues in, Jorge Corona has passed Daniel Warren Johnson as the best artist on this book. The action sequences, the angles, the detail that Jorge has drawn in the past 3 to 4 issues alone, he's illustrated, have been unbelievable and without a doubt the best work of his career. If you disagree, well, with all due respect, you're wrong. And not just that, like you said, the emotional moments in this book are fantastic as well. The moments between Spike and Optimus Prime talking about his dad being with being within the Matrix now, it's great stuff. And Daniel's words and Jorge's art nail it perfectly. This is the strongest it recommends. And if you're not reading Transformers, what the hell is wrong with you? Fix yourself, drop the Tom King crap, pick this up, and thank me tomorrow.
This was definitely in consideration for my pick of the week. It doesn't quite get there, but it is truly exceptional. And while I do love Jorge Corona's art, I don't think it's quite Daniel Warren Johnson level yet. But that's my personal opinion. We got another recommendation, Flash Gordon number 9, Jeremy Adams writing, Tom Durenick on art. And you will soon see that this is the Jeremy Adams week. We've seen images of Dale Arden, who Flash believes that he's about to save. We know that she's about to turn on him. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's all spelled out here. And this was a fun, fast-paced, really cool comic book where we actually get to see Flash Gordon and Dale get back together again, trying to sort out what actually happened. And we might have a little bit of multiversity going on here. So I personally thought Flash Gordon number 9 was an absolute hoot. Really enjoyed that book.
Feels like it's kind of tying into Flash Gordon Quarterly because some of those stories take place in multiverses of Flash Gordon and other things. So I think this may be Jeremy's attempt to merge the series, both series together. But yeah, this is a very fun issue. Finally, the lovers are reunited, or are they? But is it what we hope it will be? Is one of them not who they appear to be? You got to read to find out. This is incredibly kinetic, very action-packed, tense, and a bit mysterious as well with what's going on with Dr. Zarkov. And that's, to me, that's a lot of the more interesting stuff with Dr. Zarkov. And this leads to it being a very interesting issue. I had a lot of fun with this issue. Story takes a huge turn in this issue, and it's a recommend for me for Flash Gordon.
Definitely. If you haven't gotten on the Flash Gordon bandwagon, now is the time to do it because business is picking up. Our final indie comic book recommendation, because we did have 6 of them, Space Ghost number 12, David Pepos writing, Jonathan Lau on art. This is my personal pick of the week. I thought this was a phenomenal comic book where you have all the Space Ghost villains deciding to team up to go and get Blip, take out Space Ghost, and certainly Jason Jan. Space Ghost is in dire straits here, and thankfully Jason Jan have their heads on straight. They realize the best way to go against all these villains because they're not used to working together. They don't love each other like a family, and they're able to kind of take them on there. But it turns out Blip is playing a much larger role in all of this, and they still have to save their cybernetically enhanced monkey or whatever the hell he is. This was a great issue when Space Ghost tells him to get off of my damn planet. I thought it was great. Fantastic issue. My pick of the week, damn near perfect.
It's hard to argue with that, Wes. Yeah, this issue was pretty damn intense. And Ghost Planet's on the verge of going the way of Krypton, and the bad guys are about to take everything they want. But can that Council of Doom really trust each other? Is Space Ghost going to survive? Will the sidekicks have to step in to save the day? And is there a potential even greater villain on the rise in the near future? You got to read to find out. The stakes only get higher in this issue, and every issue has me coming back wanting more because David Pepos has written legitimate characters here that we can care for and root for. And Jonathan Lau, we're 12 issues into the series, and he's drawn every single issue to perfection. He hasn't phoned in a single issue, and I have to give him in Dynamite all the compliments in the world. And an artist doing at least 12 issues straight on a series, that's practically unheard of anymore. This guy's a unicorn. I mean, Lau is a future rock star, and if he is not on your radar, you better put him on your radar now. He will be at the big two eventually, and he will be drawing Batman and Superman sometime soon.
He would definitely have earned it at this point. And Space Ghost, I think, is firmly entrenched as my number one comic book in all the industry in 2025 thus far. It's that freaking good, and we're having some really great series right now. Normally, we would recommend something from Marvel, but once again, back-to-back weeks, nothing to recommend from Marvel. Unfortunately, but we got great stuff from DC, starting with Absolute Batman number 8, Scott Snyder writing, Marcos Martin on art. I wish this was illustrated by Nick Dragotta. They are having to bring in some fill-in artists. He's finishing up this weird Mr. Freeze story, introducing him to here. And this is the first time we've really seen this Batman in a really bad way. In fact, it looks like he's about to be taken out by Mr. Freeze. I'm not sure exactly how he freed himself, but I'm just going to buy it that it happened the way that it was supposed to happen. There is a part in here that I don't quite understand where Bruce's buddies from Crime Alley are saying, you have a death wish. I don't think it's ever been specifically spelled out, or I even got the impression that he does have a death wish, but apparently that's what his friends think. But this was a good issue, and I'm definitely more happy with the art in this particular issue than I was the last one. I guess I got a little bit more used to Marcus Martin's art.
This series, is just stupid fun. I mean, and if you don't laugh out loud with how Bruce Wayne escapes, you're reading it incorrectly because it's just like, wait, what? That's how he's. You mean to tell me Mr. Freeze never took that off? He never thought to check it out on his arm? Yeah, Chekhov's arm cast batarang dispenser thing. This issue was it was pretty damn creepy at points, and I do like this new take on Mr. Freeze. It's actually one of the more creative approaches in the Absolute universe as compared to what they've done with the other rogues. The fill-in artist does a decent job here. He's not great. He does a decent job. And what I'll say about this series is that, hey, if you love 80s action movies like Cobra, Tango and Cash, or Commando, you'll love this series. It's just dumb fun, not to be taken seriously.
Really enjoyed that one. Absolute Batman, of course, continues to be one of the standouts of the Absolute universe. Also going to recommend Aquaman number 5, Jeremy Adams writing, John Timms on art. This was the other comic book that was in consideration for Best of the Week. Obviously, I went with Space Ghost, but Aquaman was not very far behind on that one. We actually get to meet a new character. I believe his name is Titanus. He's an enormous hammerhead shark dude. That's pretty badass. One of the best designs that you'll see in modern day comics. I just love the way that he looks. And you're seeing just what a terrible person this Dagon guy is. Everybody's under his thumb. He's executing a man, his wife, and his child simply for wanting to eat. Really crazy stuff. But the best, coolest thing about this issue, okay, Titanus is probably the coolest thing, but right below it is fucking Nemo shows up with the Nautilus.
I felt like an absolute kid again reading this issue. This issue is just straight up fun and adventure. We have Aquaman exploring these cities that are domed underneath bodies of water. And on top of that, like you said, Captain flipping Nemo in the story. Yes, 20,000 leagues under the sea, Captain Nemo with the Nautilus. Take my money now. So it's Captain Nemo, Aquaman and company taking on Dagon, who is the god of this world. And now, Wes, my one slight disappointment with this issue is how Dagon looks. My one knock. He looks pretty much like Thanos in this.
He's Thanos with gills.
Yeah. But other than that, I had an absolute blast with this issue. John Timms' art, lights out, straight up superhero art. Strongest recommends for Aquaman. Aquaman has not been this amazing in decades. And I hope everyone is checking out Aquaman. This has to be a must read and must be on your pull list.
Something we'll definitely talk about in our 10 best comic books of 2025. I can already tell. Also going to recommend Batman and Robin number 21, Philip Kennedy Johnson writing, Javier Fernandez on art. I will admit Phil Kennedy Johnson is probably dragging this Memento story out just a little bit too long. He does have a tendency to do that, but I really do like it when PKJ cooks, and he's certainly cooking here. As Batman goes to the opera, he sees that female detective he used to work with when he was a kid. They're monitoring the scene, realizing something's going to happen, but we find out Damian Wayne has a theory on what is going on with Memento. Why does he speak the way he speaks? Why is he doing what he's doing? And I'm kind of with Batman on this one. It sounds so completely inconceivable that I don't know that I would even consider it for an absolute minute. But this comic book is definitely going places. But Damian Wayne, he may have discovered somebody else while he's in prison.
Yeah, I do like what Philip Kennedy Johnson here is doing with Damian Wayne. It's a new take, it's a bold take, and I'm wondering if that's going to stick across the other titles, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, this issue is a big turning point. I mean, we have the big showdown at the Opera House, and by the end of the issue, it looks like we get the reveal of who Memento is, possibly, who it is. I'm not sure if it could be. And Javi Fernandez, the artist, he does a fantastic job here with the art on this book. It's moody, it has action, it's dark, it's horrific at points, and it's one of those rare occasions where the artist is perfect for this type of story. This honestly should have been the Detective Comics story for Batman. This should have been in Detective Comics. What Tom Taylor's doing, this probably should have been in its own thing, should have been in its own universe. But I love this story so much better than what Tom Taylor did. And yeah, this is a recommend for Batman and Robin. This is still a lot of fun.
Definitely continues to be one of the bigger standouts of DC Comics. Our final recommendation, we got 10 of them this week. Green Lantern Corps, number 4, Jeremy Adams, Morgan Hampton writing, V. Ken Marion on art. I'm a big fan of V. Ken Marion, specifically when he used to do fill-in work on Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. And I think he definitely delivers that in some here. Fantastic looking comic book. I love the Guy Gardner Narf stuff that's going on there, as he's his like psychotic drill instructor that doesn't take anything seriously, while his obviously subordinate is essentially scared out of his mind. There's another story out there with Simon Boz as well as Keeley, like Teen Lantern or whatever. Not quite as engaging, but still pretty good. As far as like a low stakes, high energy kind of fun comic book, this was actually really good.
I went into this issue not really expecting to like it that much because the past few issues, they've been okay. They haven't been great. But I really, really enjoyed this issue. So we've got a few different stories going on here following different members of the Corps. We've got Teen Lantern, who's actually 12, not a teenager, with Simon Baz, as they're looking for a psionic battery. And we've got Guy Gardner, who's back at headquarters, been signed to train a new Green Lantern, who I'm calling Snowflake. What's even greater is that we come across an old school Green Lantern villain. And it's actually a pretty fun moment. I got to give Jeremy that. He does a great job of bringing back these legendary characters from the chest and just bringing new life into them. I love it. And the art in this is terrific as well. I love the layout for one location in this, Wes. I think you'll agree with me with the use of the dead character in this. I dig it. I love it. And I know it says Morgan Hampton was the writer of this, but no, I'm giving all the credit to Jeremy Adams. This is too damn good for Morgan Hampton to have written this. If you disagree with me, well, hey, you're wrong. How many books this week is there for Jeremy Adams? 3? He's not doing bad.
Absolutely not. It was the Jeremy Adams week, but it was just a fantastic week all around. I wish they would stop loading up week 2 and ignoring week 1, because that is absolutely a dead spot in the comic book release schedule right now. Besides that, I'm about to go on vacation. And when we go to Fan Expo Dallas, I'm going to run into Drew and Aaron and a lot of people from the channel that are part of the family here. But Drew, you are coming with great tidings?
100% true, Wes. What we got here is the Fan Expo Dallas exclusive for Unholy Nightmare 2 Preview Edition. Penciled by Michael Ortiz, creator of Arachnus, inked by Andrew Mangum, and colored by Gene Jimenez, the original colorist of Arachnus. Michael Ortiz will be there at Fan Expo Dallas at our booth, so bring your copies of Arachnus and buy his new work here for Unholy Nightmare 2. You guys will not see what is coming in this issue for Unholy Nightmare 2. Sign up now to be notified when we go live.
And that will do it. You will not get a Best of the Week for almost another month. If you appreciate what we're doing here, because I have made 3 weeks worth of videos and podcasts, not just here for the YouTube, but certainly on the Patreon as well, and you would like to support the channel, go see what we're doing over there. There is a link in the video description. There's a button right here. And we got some amazing stuff coming your way over the next 3 weeks. You will definitely not want to miss that. Hope to see you there very, very soon.